Ladies and gentlemen, here we are, Team Compton in Queensland with Dom Marfan, mate. Finally get to in person. Look, you're a couple of weeks out from going to war yet again after a brutal. I mean, you said it would be a bloody fight. Thoughts on that fight, first of all?
Yeah, man, it went exactly like I wanted it to. Yeah, I'm definitely at a point in my career where I want my fights to be entertaining. I want to show my full skill set, and like that includes like a really violent array of attacks. And I was happy that I finally got to kind of show that. Like I feel like I've gotten to the point in other fights where I've been grappling and I've been dominating, but maybe the sub will come first, and I've taken that. But ground and pound's a huge part of my skill set, and I really was happy to be able to like showcase it.
Well, you even got David Martinez giving you a shout out that you've taught him to not just grapple now, but to be violent on top. Are you proud of that?
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Like obviously David's a killer by himself. Like, he doesn't need any help from me. But yeah, it was cool. We've been training together, and there's been a few little things that I just kind of pointed out, like, oh, could you potentially maybe tweak this here, just to, because he's so freaking heavy, man. He's so hard to deal with. Like, he's a lot. So the second he has ground and pound in, like, it was night and day. It was so much more terrifying to roll him. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Is it hard that, I mean, MMA is so small, especially in the country of quality contenders, and you're kind of building a close relationship with David Martinez. Does that affect potentially fighting each other in the future and stuff like that?
I think there's definitely more room for more than one person to go through to the UFC or go through to international ranks from any one division. I think people are too used to like squabbling amongst themselves, too used to kind of like not risking sharing any knowledge amongst themselves. But like at the end of the day, we're all striving for the same goal. We're all trying to not just make the international scene, but we're trying to do well on the international scene. And I don't think that comes from avoiding training partners. I think I get a lot more benefit out of training with someone like David than I do out of fighting someone like David. Like, I think, yeah, I'm improving tons. Like, yeah, there were some things that I pointed out to David, but like this, I get a ton of benefit from like the experience that he has in the grapple. It's a completely different look and different style to the way that most of the people I train with, like fight or train. So it benefits me a lot.
And when you have a guy like, so this next fight against Luke Daly, I mean, when I was making predictions, I thought we were looking at more of a Jack Becker fight, that real top sort of, I mean, Luke's great, but this fight kind of almost feels like you are the A side. And in terms of narrative, Luke Daly is the sort of B side, and you're giving him this great step up in sort of competition. There's no disrespect to Luke at all. He knows I love him, but I would have thought you would have been looking for more of that Jack Becker, that next title fight thing. Does that just not phase you at all, or how did the Luke Daly fight come about?
I absolutely was looking for that Jack Becker fight. So we were actually tossing up the idea of Jack Becker, Aiden Aguilera, a few of those names, and then I was going to like even potentially look to call one of them out on the microphone, and then I found out it got announced that night of my fight that they were fighting. So I'm like, okay, well, I feel like I got left out. You know, I kind of feel like a bit of a third wheel. I'm definitely interested in that fight. Like whoever wins there, whoever loses there, I'm happy to fight either of those guys. They're both veterans. I actually did ask for some of the guys with a little bit more fight experience. Again, no disrespect to Luke Daly, but like some of those guys like Becker, Aguilera, Medina, those types of guys that have like they've just fought so many guys. Joblin, I'd like to fight Joblin. And I think that would do well to test me for the international ranks. But I actually have quite a lot of respect for Luke Daly's skills. I actually think he's very good, and I think he's a lot better than his record shows. And one of the things that I'm doing when I'm looking for my next fights is not just fighting for the sake of it. I want to prepare myself for the international scene. I know that's where I'm going, and I don't think by any means it would be an easy fight. I think he's got some skills, and I think we're going to have a really good fight, and that's what I want before I go to international ranks.
And I mean, I've got to get your thoughts on, of course, Quillan Salkilld off to the UFC. He's doing great things. I'm sure heaps of people are like, oh, well, you lost to him, that's not bad. And you're like, shut up. But is it frustrating that he, in a way, has had your number both times?
Yeah. I think it's funny, man. Like, people were sending me like the post of him making Dana White Contender Series. They're like, oh, I can't like. Imagine how stupid it would sound if I was bitter about that. Like, nah, fuck you, Quillan, you're going nowhere. Best of 5, buddy. Like, you know, like it's stupid. I think I messed up my chance in the rematch. I think I've fixed the problems that I had in that rematch, but I think my chance is gone. I think any more fights, like even let's say if he was to lose at Contenders and he came back to like the Australian scene, it just wouldn't make sense when I've already lost to the guy twice to fight him again. Like, I'd really have to earn that. So I don't really think it's likely that we'll cross paths, at least not until maybe we're both in international ranks. I think it does actually age quite well. Like, I think like guys like Cody Haddon's a good example of that. Like, his only loss to Urseg, right? Like, that shit ages really well. So. Yeah, I'm not too miffed about it. Like, I don't need people that I've fought to do bad for me to feel good. Like, I just need to do good. So, like, if he does good and I do good, then everyone's happy. Like, you know, no one has to lose.
And mate, before I let you go, when do we see you in the big show?
In the big show, man, like, I'd like to say within a year and a half. I think 2 or 3 more violent finishes. I think the UFC has to pay attention. I'm not so worried about the title. I think you don't need the title to get in the UFC. Like Tom got signed, he didn't have the title. Stewie got signed, he didn't have the title. I think what matters more is violent finishes, and I think I showed that in my last fight, and I plan to do that more and more. I think the UFC like that shit, and I think that should get me where I want to go within like a year and a half.
Awesome, mate. Well, I really appreciate you having me down and for taking the time.
Awesome. Thank you, bro.
Yes.